What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my OTK Deskbot deck. Deskbot deck focuses more around OTKing rather than a control strategy like the last Deskbot deck profile. I could have just made one or the other, but I just went ahead and decided to make both. So, before we get to the deck profile, I'd just like to remind you to vote which deck you'd like me to do for this month. Who knows? May win. Without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. First off, I run 2 Deskbot 2. When this card is special summoned, you can add a Deskbot card from your deck to your hand. I also run 3 Deskbot 3. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a Deskbot monster from deck. 3 Deskbot 4. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can send 1 Deskbot monster from deck to grave, and you gain 500 attack times its level. And when you destroy opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 2 Deskbots with different names from your grave. I also run 2 Deskbot 7. 3 Deskbot 7, as well as 3 Deskbot 8. Both 7 and 8 gain 500 attack for each Deskbot card in your graveyard. 7 can do piercing damage, and Deskbot 8 can attack twice. And I also run the 1 Deskbot 9. This gains 500 attack. This gains the combined attack of all Deskbot monsters you currently control. Now, in this Deskbot deck, I'm focusing more on building up enough attack for an OTK rather than control, so I'm not running the field spell at all. And since I'm not running this field spell, I can cut out some of the useless Deskbots such as 1, 5, and 6. Because in this strategy, I don't need them. This is a going second deck now. I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 3 Nibiru, and 2 Effect Failure for hand traps. I have to run a good number of hand traps, considering I'm not going to be running stuff like Evenly Matched or Dark Ruler no more, because when I use those effects, I can't do any damage that turn, so I can't OTK. So I gotta use these during my opponent's turn to kind of disrupt their plays. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Limit to Removal. This is a big card for this deck. Considering the Deskbot monsters can gain pretty high attack, and Limit to Removal is just going to double it even beyond. So let's take Deskbot 4 for example, and let's say you ditch 9, so it gains 45 attack, so bring it up to 5,000 attack. This makes it 10k. It literally turns it into an OTK attack. So it's definitely really helpful, and the downside of Limit to Removal is that during the end phase of this card, destroy all machine type monsters you control. But if you can end it in an OTK, that won't matter. I also run 3 Machine Duplication. A very good card for Despots, considering they all have 500 attack and defense to start out. Also run 3 Pot of Extravagance for draw power. In this version, the extra deck doesn't even matter at all, because we're not really going to be using it a whole lot. You may use stuff like Access Code, Saryuja, maybe Cleafort, but sometimes 4 can do it on itself, and maybe just having some stuff in your extra deck is good to kind of like finish it up, but you don't really need it. I also run 3 Forbidden Chalice. This is to help negate monsters during my turn, so my attacks and effects can go off uninterrupted. I also run the 1 Raigeki, probably another confusing card that you don't get that I'm running. I'm trying to go for an OTK, and if my opponent has no monsters, it's going to be easy. So I definitely want this to kind of help us clear the board. And I know there is the argument that may help my opponent, but I think within the current meta, the Graveyard Reliance isn't as strong as in other formats. I also run the 1 Called by the Grave, don't want to get hand trapped, 1 Monster Reborn for extending, and the 1 card Destruction. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. I run 3 Salamangreat Almirage. This is mainly to help set up for Saryuja. Because let's say I machine dupe number 2, for example. I'll have like 3 number 2s on the field, and I can't go into Saryuja because Saryuja requires 2+ monsters with different names, so none of them can have the same name. This at least helps with that. I also run 3 Cleafort Genius. Pretty good machine card. And like Deskbot 4, when 2 or more monsters special summon at the same time as this card, you can add 1 level 5 or higher. Well, it's just a level 2, a link 2 machine monster. You can switch this out for anything else, but that's just what I run. Also run the 1 Union Carrier. That card also doesn't really matter as much. I run 2 Saryuja Scoldred. I'd probably drop either Cleafort or the Union Carrier for a 3rd copy of Saryuja, but I don't have a 3rd copy. I only have 2. Because Saryuja is probably the card you're going to go to in the most. Also run 2 Royal Sword Dragon, the 1 Apollosa, and the 1 Access Code Talker. Also run a Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon and number 60 Dugaris the Timeless. Well, that's going to be all for this deck profile. What do you think? Do you think the OTK version is better than the control version? Or do you think the control version is better? Let me know in the comments and see you in the next video I make. Bye.